Today I'll be ranking the top 9 elements that are on Lightning Rod at Dollywood. This ride is an insane launch RMC that got 2/3 of its track redone from wood into steel. The elements themselves didn't change because of the track, but I got more rows this time. I had only gotten rows 11 and 9 last year, but this year I got very front and towards the front as well. So here are the top 9 elements on Lightning Rod. Number 9 is the first twist and shout. I forgot that this element really doesn't have any airtime. It's just a cool feeling to flip to the side like that. It's not a world-class element like most of the elements on this ride, but it's fun. It doesn't even compare to the second twist and shout, and I'm glad you end the twist and shouts off with the good one. Don't go in expecting much from this element. It's not anything amazing. Number 8 is the wave turn. I would have had this at the bottom spot last year because towards the back this does absolutely nothing. Towards the front you actually get some decent sideways airtime, but nothing crazy. This element is really the only part of the ride I consider overrated. It's not world class or anything, but it's pretty fun in towards the front row. It's honestly the best in row 6, which is one of my favorite rows on the ride. That's a story for another day. Number 7 is the pre-drop. These next 7 are definitely better than those bottom 2. Those 2 are clearly the 2 worst parts of the ride. And yes, the pre-drop is better, but only in the back row. In the front row you don't get any forces on it, but in the back you get some whip. Even though the launch is slowed down from 2016, it still provides some whip. I'm sure it's not as insane as then, and this element would have been higher then, but in its current state, it's a really nice pop of airtime before the main drop. Number 6 is the half loop. The thing that makes this so good to me is the pop of airtime you'll get into the brakes. It's paced extremely well, so you go up the half loop at a rapid pace and then pop down into the brake run. It's a great way to end off a ride. It's not overly intense, but the pop of airtime makes up for it. Number 5 is the double up. This is just 2 extremely powerful airtime hills back to back. They both rise up, and it's in between 2 fantastic elements with the second twist and shout and the quad down. I would actually like to see an inversion in there instead of this, like a Z or G roll for more variety, but you really can't complain about awesome ejector airtime. This is as strong as airtime gets. This ride is just too good, so it's at the number 5 position. Number 4 is the launch. This launches you at 40 miles an hour up the ride's 207-foot tall lift hill. It's very intense and actually one of my favorite launches. It's such a cool feeling going up the lift that fast. Maverick does the same thing, but it's just not as steep and not as fast. This is the perfect way to start one of the best rides in the world, and it really hypes you up for the rest of this insane ride. Number 3 is the main drop. This drop is way better than I was expecting originally. I thought it would be weak before I ever rode this, but it's not weak at all. It's a fantastic drop. It has stunning views. It's tall at 165 feet. It's steep at 70 degrees, and it reaches crazy speeds for a partially wooden coaster at 73 miles an hour. The launch beforehand really helps this drop because it already has some speed going into it. Sure, this is one of the weaker RMC drops, but I guess RMC has some pretty great drops. Number 2 is the quad down. This is a very popular number 1 element in the world candidate. It's 4 extremely powerful pops of ejector airtime while you're traveling down a mountain. It's really insane and by far on my top 10 elements of all time. It's incredible and it's tough not putting this at number 1. The airtime is not sustained, but the strength of it more than makes up for it. This element isn't as good as it was because you'd just be emerging from the woods, but now you can see the end of the quad down way before you get to it, which is a disappointment. But all these elements are slightly worse than last year because of not as much scenery, except for the weight turn, but it's still definitely a world-class element. Number 1 is the second twist and shout. I know this element is only 1, but the quad down is 4, so some people would argue, why isn't the quad down above it? Well, if you want, I can break down each hill individually that makes up the quad down. Yes, there's 4 elements, but what the second twist and shout does is incredible. I'd really have to think about it, but currently, I think it's my second favorite element of all time. It's insane. You have the same strength of airtime as the double up and the quad downhills, but it's extremely sustained, and it's turned sideways, so it's really an outer bank hill. You'll be ejected into your strength for seconds. It's like the 5-second hill on Mako, but with sideways ejector. This element is definitely my favorite of the ride, and it deserves some more respect. Wait a minute. Don't you think about leaving yet, because I just want to explain something to you. Velocicoaster's top 9 elements, I think, are a better collection than all of Lightning Rod's top 9 elements. And then you have more elements onto Velocicoaster than just 9. You have 6 more. And you could just see, like, there's just more amazing elements to Velocicoaster. And it has theming. And the setting is still really good. So, that's why I like Velocicoaster more. I'm hoping you can understand that more now, because it really just has so much more, and they're amazing elements. Another thing to think about is Lightning Rod only has 5 elements I consider insane, and Velocicoaster has 11. And you can argue, yeah, Lightning Rod, the quad down and the double up, they're more than one element, considered one element. Alright, so that would be 9 insane elements. That's still too short of what Velocicoaster has to offer. Velocicoaster it's better, okay? It's an insane ride, not just the theming. The ride itself is insane, and yeah. That's gonna wrap up my top 9 elements on Lightning Rod at Dollywood. Tell me why you disagree with me down below. Make sure to share the video if you want, and tell me any video suggestions you'd like me to do. Thanks for watching. Share the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.